Hey guys, we're here today to talk about the newest attack damage carry, Aphelios. And yeah, I'm going to try to explain him. He is really, really easy to understand, but despite what anyone tells you. So we're just going to get some items here. I think his recommended build is like a crit build. Hurricane is actually like kind of bonkers with him. And I don't know, we get PD, 100% crit. So we're going to talk about his kit. We're going to have 3 targets here. So what your first thing you're going to notice is his sort of interface. He doesn't have the normal interface. He has a modified interface. Uh, he automatically learns Q and W and R at the required levels. So when you level up, he levels up a stat. That's really cool. Um, Hold on, let me just turn off minions. That's really cool. So you get to tailor what you want. Do you need attack speed? Do you need armor pen? Or do you just want like flat AD? Uh, of course, there's a skill max level to it. You do get to have all the points, of course, when you do need them. What? What? All right, we're gonna. That's weird. We're gonna do our testing here. So first off, what you need to know is his guns have ammunition. He has 5 weapons total, but he only gets access to 2 of them at a time. Here you can see the 5: sniper, pistol, grav cannon, flamethrower, chakram. He gets access to 2 at a time. His on-hand and off-hand. Whatever is his on-hand is what he fires. If you hit W, you get to swap to your off-hand, which becomes your on-hand. So as you notice, he's holding this, he gets that. He's holding this, he gets this. Each one has a Q, if you notice. They each have different cooldowns, so we're gonna fire Q, W, Q. When we go back, you notice his Q is just about to come off cooldown. So he has some sort of like spell sort of burst, I guess, in his kit, if you want to mention it that way. Um, but the kicker is each one uses 10 ammo, and each auto uses 1 ammo. When he runs out of ammo in either his on-hand or off-hand, it will swap to the next one in its cycle. So when I use them all up, I get grav cannon next. Then you have his ultimate. His ultimate is pretty much a skill shot like bomb that causes you to fire your quick weapon. So let's fire it. Notice I attacked with this weapon. We're gonna cooldown. You notice I fired with that weapon. Now each weapon has its own sort of passive, which is its own traits aside from its Q. Here you can see Calibrum has access to bonus attack range, and an ability that uses Calibrum will grant vision and allows you to shoot them with his offhand. When you look at Severum, it heals with damage dealt, and his Q is essentially a Kaisa Q, but it also has a built-in shield. Note that you don't get that lifesteal when you're holding the sniper. You don't get that attack range when you're using the lifesteal pistols. But like I mentioned earlier about how his kit has passives, they can synergize with each other. For example, his Q attacks with both weapons. You'll notice with your Q. If you noticed, I was able to attack them at that long range because of how Calibrum works. You know, abilities that use Calibrum mark targets, granting vision. So I guess from here on, we're just going to talk about his what each weapon does, and then at the end, I could show you some quick tips. So we have Sniper, bonus range. His Q is pretty much an Ezreal Q that marks a target. If I attack with if any weapon uses Calibrum, for example, my Q here does, they get marked. I can pop that mark to fire with my offhand. Notice how my offhand was this. I guess I'll use this up. Again, here we have the pistol. It heals, makes my autos heal, and it pretty much gives me overheal the rune. His Q is a Kaisa Q. So we're just gonna use it up. Note, again, I marked them because my Q fires my offhand. which is this Calibrum. Calibrum marks targets with its Q. When you keep these in mind, you can have access to these really powerful moves. Alright, now we have Gravitum Cannon. Now this is a fun one. Attacks have a decaying slow. When you have a marked target, you can hit Q to stun them. It's very, very simple. Now, here's a fun one. Let's put what we've learned. Calibrum can mark targets. When targets are marked, he can auto with his offhand. Let me just get rid of this thing. We're gonna fire this. Hit it with the slow. Stun. Alright, so that's a very, very long range route. It's also worth noting I have Hurricane, so it hits all three of them. Hurricane's like really done with them. So again, we're going to... Oh, I guess we use it up. So we're with the Flamethrower. So the Flamethrower deals damage in a cone. Pretty simple. We'll just have one. It's a cone. It's like a Flamethrower. His Q shoots a little wave like an anti-W, and then attacks with his secondary. So again, secondary is the slow cannon. Keep in mind, targets hit by the slow cannon can get stunned with its Q. So we're gonna boom, really nice route. So it's like, oh, I need to route 3 people. Again, it's really, really straightforward. Now we have Crescendum. Crescendum is the Chakram. The Chakram is actually really nuts with the Severum. So I guess we'll talk about that one next. Crescendum targets go back to Aphelios. Notice it travels back. So if you are standing closer to a target, you can auto pretty fast. Its Q deploys a sentry that fires your offhand. So here, it's okay. Wait, what? Okay, I don't know why that doesn't work. It should work. It was working, but that aside, we'll use it up. We'll use this up. You'll notice the spinning chakrams around me. I'll get to it. So here we have its second ability. Other abilities that use Crescendum create temporary chakram that deal bonus damage whenever your Aphelios attacks. I'll just show you. Remember, Severum attacks with both weapons. Here you can see you have access to 6. Now let's try it again. Now we have access to 12. Now we have access to 18. Now we have access to 24. Do it one more time. Now we have access to 30. Look at that thing. Look how much damage that does. So there you go. Yeah. And then the rest of his kit, you have the sniper again. You fire this, fire your offhand, and then you have an extra chakram. This is a... Yeah, I don't know why they aren't targeting. This should be targeting. Because you can do some pretty crazy things by marking targets with your offhand with your turret. But again, there's some pretty cool synergies you can do here. A super long route. I didn't really talk about it, but here's his ult. They have different things here. As you can see here, Gravitum. Shots fired from Gravitum when you use your R is a 99% slow, which is really redonkulous. Let me just see if I can use up the rest of this ammo. Alright, Flamethrower. Notice the AoE is apparently bigger. It's a big circle AoE. Again, this is like, for example, team fighting. You land a Calibrum, auto with your fire, and it's just fire. This is such a, like a creative champion. It's gonna definitely reward you once you understand how to play him. Notice when you use Q with Crescendum, Severum, it fires the flamethrower. So you have all these AoE bursts. You fire the Q. That doesn't really do anything. That's not, that's not a good combo. This is a good combo. Let me see if I can use up the rest of this. Okay. Let's see if I can make it work here. Yeah, I don't... What? Yeah, I don't know why it's not firing. But, I hope that makes sense. I know I was doing a little bit of rambling, but I hope his skill set makes sense. You have access to 5 guns. These are they auto swap out whenever they run out of ammo. You fire with your main hand, and your Q is determined by your main hand. Some abilities use your offhand, for example. This uses your offhand. This uses your offhand. This uses your offhand. This is your next weapon, so whatever runs out of ammo will swap to this weapon. Your level up gives you stats rather than abilities, and your R is a bomb that fires your main hand. And then again, we'll do one quick pass at it. Your Chakram goes back to you whenever you fire it, and that's when you can fire it again, and puts down a sentry of your offhand. The Gravitum Cannon has slows on its autos, and if you hit Q on a marked target, it roots them. Again, this works globally. You notice the particles. Okay. Calibrum, extra range on your autos. When they're marked, they fire your offhand. When Chakram is using its offhand from another weapon, for example this, it generates more Chakrams to empower your next attacks. Remember, when Calibrum is used at all, well, this doesn't use it, it marks targets that you can auto with your offhand. So, Severum heals on its autos, and its Q is basically Kaisa Q with both weapons. Again, Calibrum gets popped because of Severum's Q. So you could just do this. Let's see something nutty. Again, hypothetically works globally. You're probably not gonna use it globally. We're gonna try to mark. Well, we're gonna try to mark. Fire our offhand. We have the flamethrower. Flamethrower is an AoE. Its Q is a anti-W that fires your offhand. We're gonna just try to use this up. Another fun combo is doing this. And again, your R applies the auto of your main hand. So I hope you guys, the kit makes more sense. Maybe it's gibberish to you, but the dude has it's very intuitive. It's not that confusing. It definitely is going to take a while to get used to understanding how to use his kit optimally in all situations, but I think that's a really fun experiment. Hurricane, you could do, when you do stuff like this, it's actually nuts. Oh, I ran out. But again, I hope you guys learned something.